Welcome back, YouTubers. Thank you for checking out this episode of the Darwin Pond Show. All right, here we go, episode 4. And where we left off, we had some heavy groups and converging together. There's triple strokers, the angelfish. I don't know if those squiddies are still alive. Actually, I think they may be. I think the squiddies might be gone. Those two-limbed. I think they were like pink and red ones that swam kind of backwards in awkward angles. I think they're gone, man. I think their genetics have been absorbed into other species over here. Which brings to mind something I've seen happen in Darwin Pond that is very bizarre. Like, say those squiddy ones that disappeared, right? The pink and red-limbed ones that were swimming around half-ass everywhere. The ones that absorb them, I've seen like a reoccurrence of the species, and I don't know if it's like literally the squiddy thing could spring out of nowhere if two of the creatures that have its genetics. So maybe those 10-digit DNA numbers actually contain the genetics of like ancestry. I don't know. I've seen species that went extinct reappear suddenly. From the species that outcompeted them and took over. And it's interesting. They don't survive, obviously, because they already went extinct once, but I just wonder what makes that dormant type of thing reappear, and I think that's pretty cool if that's part of the program. Now look at all the variants on the swimmers here. They look to be, right now, at least the dominant species. We're approaching the 100,000 tick mark, 96,000 ticks right now. And they already, to me, look like the dominant. There's multiple color variants, multiple tribes of the species, but they're widespread. They cover that whole central to left area in those large masses. The only thing working against them now is that those large numbers in that little area, they're going to eat through that food really, really fast. And then they're going to be left, and then I can see, based on the motion, I can see what looks like angelfish ones in the top left and the top right way in the corner over there, and some triple strokers now you can see making their way up in that direction as well. But I see angelfish ones, so they might have that new pasture up there. I just think there's too many of these triple strokers. I think you'll see quite a few of them persevere as the faster ones will swim up to get the food higher up and leaving their comrades to die below. And there's going to be a large number of them that are going to die very soon. You can already see quite a few of them fading. Look at all the variation though in these triple strokers. Color. You can clearly see the ones that are the best swimmers making their way up there quickly. And that's where the mechanics, like how fast they can push those limbs up and fold them back in. You can see some that are stroking faster than others. Again, I know it sounds like a really naughty adult movie, and I don't know what else to say as far as verbs and whatnot go, so know that I have a dirty mind, but I'm trying to avoid the innuendo as much as possible. What do we got going on in the center there? All triple strokers making their way up there. The angle that they're going, the ones directly in the center there, looks like they're going to the center right. What are these up here? These are the butterfly ones? It looks to be. Oh, a couple of triple strokers there in the corner. I think this might be a mixed bag over here. No, mostly butterfly ones. Mostly the angelfish ones. Some triple strokers there. A couple different color variants. No, it looks, those things are moving pretty well, sticking together. Yeah. You got angelfish and triple strokers mixed in here. Be curious to see as these populations mingle. Based on sheer numbers, I'm guessing the triple strokers, and there's some, if you see the one on the top there, those guys are swimming pretty good now. That motion is pretty nice. It's still not completely efficient. You can almost see, obviously, as they push their arms forward, like they're stuck in neutral and they drift back just a hair before that force of their arms coming down pulls them forward again. And that's where a species like this angelfish is able to sort of like constantly wave its arms like a jellyfish or whatever, minimal effort, but slower, sort of constant propulsion. And I've seen species that have the same motion, that undulating motion they call it, and they can do it a little bit faster or in a wider arc, which gets that more of that whip effect going on. That can be extremely effective too. Again, consumes an awful lot of energy though. The faster you go, so that lazy kind of undulating motion can be beneficial in terms of conserving energy. Of course, you sacrifice speed, which in a race for food and mates, I guess speed kills, right? The environment, though, has got to play a part. Like, what if we had a pond, and we may do it in a future season, that the food regenerates extremely quickly, so there's never really a lack of food. You might see that softer undulating motion actually be the dominant form because they don't expend as much energy. If the food's always available, they'll live longer. If they're not burning through their calories, they'll breed more often. It could work. Off the top of my head, I don't know if I've ever done an experiment like that, but that's part of the fun of this little simulation program, is you can come up with all these different scenarios and piece them together however you want. We got like watermelon candy strokers over there. Yeah, we got a pretty healthy mix here of multicolored strokers of all different types. We got angelfish. These guys are all dead. Sayonara. Some scattered pieces of food, but not enough to sustain, any population. And you got some dying strokers there swimming desperately for food right there. He's already fading as he's getting to the food. Get you some. And it's weird because like some of them, there's definitely like a limb. If you notice, like there's a leg that just looks like it's not quite as flexible as the other two on these stroking ones, these triple strokers. I don't know if it's a shorter leg or if it just doesn't bend as far, and that's definitely a hindrance to their mobility. If all three of their limbs had the same range of motion, the ability to like go straight forward and then all pull back at the same time, like three oars, they might be difficult to deal with. And actually, I do have a species that I call the fire rower. It's like an orange and red. It's got two limbs, and it just looks like something paddling on a boat. Somebody paddling on a boat like a rowboat. I'll show you those some other time. Back to the show. Yeah, we got all mixed color variants, which is good as far as breeding goes, because it'll provide a lot of options, immediate options. If they can't find a mate they prefer, at least they might find one with a little bit of the color. Because I think it works by color priority, how much of a color is on the mate. Like if they prefer to mate with yellow, a creature that's got two yellow segments will be preferred over one that has one. Although I think distance obviously plays a part too. See, there's a blue mate, and he sees one of those blue guys over there. And since the blue, I'm guessing he's going for one of the ones with the blue higher up on the body, because I think that takes priority over the lower limbs one, the lower limbed areas. A cluster of lemon limes there in the center. Or maybe all green, I'm not sure. You can see a little patch of food down there in the bottom, but again, I don't think it's going to be enough to support any sizable population. Looks like the next surge in swimmers is going to be up in the top there. As those angelfish and strokers merge. Yeah, I don't think there's enough down here. The angelfish that are on the board right now, though, are definitely looking very efficient in that nice rocking motion as they lazily propel themselves through the goo. The green goo. I like the colors on these. Purdy. That must be the squid colors, the pink and red tails there. If you notice, that's the same thing that the squids had. The two-limbed squids. So the angelfish must have bred and absorbed some of those genetics. But they swim in the right direction, whereas those squiddy-looking ones look like they were swimming backwards constantly. Yeah, I'm wondering if the pink and the red I'm seeing is that contribution to the gene pool by those squid creatures, you know? It's widespread, and they had, remember the squid ones had spread out pretty wide in the beginning and mingled with quite a few of the other creatures, so I'm wondering if that he's seeing that color variation because of them mingling. These lemon lime ones are popping up quite a bit now. So it looks like we can confidently declare that the triple strokers and the angelfish are right now the two species competing for dominance of this pond. And while it looks like I'd say the triple strokers have the advantage in terms of numbers and stuff, I don't know. The angelfish are doing well. They seem to be finding the food. There's always enough of them to survive for the next wave of extinction. You know, if you look at the chart now in the corner, you can see what I was talking about earlier. As those lines intersect, you know, population, and then the food comes up to meet it, the population rebounds, and it's that cycle that weeds everything out every time. Fascinating to watch, that's for sure. Let me put some tape on my glasses. Yep. Let's see, who would you bet on right now if you were a betting man? The angelfish or the triple strokers? A lot of different colors, though. That's going to be impossible to predict. You know, whether there'll be a homogeneous tribe. Like, say the angelfish become the dominant species. Are they going to, you know, homogenize in terms of color? It looks like most of them have the yellow upper body color. You know, there's some variation as you go down the limbs, but I see some orange, red patterns, blue patterns, but it looks like yellow. Maybe, yeah, it looks like yellow is the dominant top color. Those other colors might serve a function, though, in attracting mates from other species and maybe possibly carrying on their own genetics, even if the triple strokers mate with them. Now, it looks like the majority of the groups that we saw are all up to the northern area. You can see them starting to die off. Very small pockets are making their way down. Could be interesting. I see some clusters already in the south there. Yeah, that group in the top left is in serious trouble. All right, so yeah, I don't know at this point, man. Really getting into that crunch zone now where you have mass die-offs. I think the population, look at the overall 152, and that seems to almost be a peak now. So it's the real struggle is on. You know, the mass die-offs, the ones that get ahead and are able to propagate, and then there's no more die-offs in the refinement process. You know, piece by piece, step by step. Lemon lime. I don't know. Those angelfish ones almost look like they're catching up in terms of that propulsion, the speed. The triple strokers seem to win that one for a while, but obviously the angelfish ones that have survived are probably are faster than their predecessors were. Be interesting. Wow, there's going to be all those folks up north are toast. There'll be a small pocket in the top right, but the dominant ones are going to be those two clusters in the center, bottom center there, the ones that are spreading left and right, will have access to all that food. And you got some ones straggling down. Here we go. the die-off and the refinement continues on. That's it for this episode of the Darwin Pond Show. Thank you for tuning in, and there'll be a new episode coming soon.